Sorry.
Yes.
All right, call the meeting to order. It's 8 a.m. Let's do it forward. Roll call, please.
Thomas Gallant.
Here.
Tim Davis. Phil Ellinger.
Present.
Carol Killian. Larry McDermott.
Here.
Bruce Treasure.
Here.
Bishop Eric Triplett.
Here.
We have one.
Okay, any other business to come before the,
Mr. Chair, on number 6, we are going to talk to Nancy Kiefer regarding this one, so I recommend we table it for this meeting.
All right, very good. Any new business? Any public comment? Okay, next meeting would be April 16th, 2014, right here in this chamber. Is there anything else to come before the board? Not? We're adjourned. Okay, go to reports.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the advisory board. Rob Earhart with the county's economic development group. You probably saw where unemployment numbers came out on Monday, and so the county unemployment rate is 6.4%. That's an increase over the December number. Maybe that's troubling, maybe it's not. Put it into context, if you look at surrounding counties, all counties increased by at least 0.4%. Some increased higher of the surrounding counties. And if you start to look at the seasonality in our labor force, I think you can quickly conclude that it's unfortunate that the number went up, but it's not out of the norm. And in fact, it's the dates or the information that I have on my desk dating back to 2006. You see the January unemployment rate is some percentage point increase over the previous December unemployment rate. So again, it's not unusual, and I take heart with the comment that was in the News Journal article made by Sean Snaith that it could actually be a sign of an improvement because, as you know, it's a division problem, and so if the labor force in the denominator goes up, then that's not a bad thing necessarily. So I know you have on your agenda today to discuss a tax exemption request for Trader Joe's East, a distribution center that they're considering in the Daytona Beach area. You probably read, but just to be on the record, the County Council approved that last Thursday. I should say the County Council approved the county's contribution to that opportunity, to that project, last Thursday, 6-0. On a different note, you may have heard that Florida Trend is preparing to write a feature article on Volusia County, including the city of Daytona Beach. We understand that that'll appear in the August issue, and so they are hosting some luncheons this week. I believe the first one is today at Stetson, and there's one tomorrow at the Ocean Center, where they've invited members of the community to gain insight as to what content would be in the article. If you aren't familiar with how Florida Trend does that, I have a copy with me of the February 2014 edition of Florida Trend, where they did a portrait on the city of Gainesville. So they did a very nice job there, and we'd certainly expect that would be the outcome of this effort. For information, the Incubator Advisory Board has a meeting next Tuesday, the 25th. VMA Leadership Series is a week from tomorrow, Thursday the 27th. They'll have their second CEO speaker, Mark Andrews. And we, the county, are hosting an export seminar on Wednesday, the 2nd of April, and we'll have representatives of the SBDC, Enterprise Florida, XM Bank, and U.S. Commercial Service speaking to the business community. We're hoping to have at least 30 business owners turn out for that as a way of helping them understand what the opportunities are if they're not currently exporting, and if they are currently exporting, how some of those resources might help them expand on the revenues that they're currently enjoying from exports. And that's my report. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the county? Exactly. There's a lot of explanations in the newspaper, Rob, about how these incentives work. But in most cases, if the project doesn't go forward or it doesn't go forward as planned, those incentives roll back or are not paid. Is that true in some respects?
The typical incentive requests
I'm talking about the county, not so much the city.
Yeah, the typical incentive requests that we're involved in relate to the state's QTI tax refund program. And so it's basically a four-step process. One, you apply and gain approval from the state. Two, the company accepts and has to make an announcement. Three, they have to perform. And four, and only if they make those first three steps, four, do they then get to submit their documentation and position themselves to begin to receive refunds. So yes, it's very, very much performance-based.
Yeah, because I think that there was an article today in the News Journal about the incentives that, and particularly about the one we're going to be talking about today. But that they need to be kind of self-paid out of the growth from that business and the growth of the economy. And I think in most parts we're not over-incenting to the point where we're paying out more for jobs than the incentives will actually recoup in extra economic activity. You all agree with that, or?
Well, are you speaking specifically to the Trader Joe's distribution center?
Trader Joe's, or most of them. Yeah, most of the ones we've done in the last few weeks.
Yeah, so it's my opinion that, again, using the QTI tax refund program as an example, that any local financial support that the county council would consider putting into one of those requests, the way the program works is if the company were to qualify and begin to receive funds, those funds are taken from a pot of money that's made up 80% by the state and 20% by the local government. So for the QTI program, that's typically the county of Volusia. And so to ask the county council to consider putting those funds into that pot of money, it is predicated on job creation, and typically job creation at wages at or above the average of the area. And so the return on that investment, if you want to think of it that way, I think it's generally the county's feeling that that's a good investment for us to make.
Those QTI things are refunds. So they get approved to get a refund if they make their job goals.
Okay.
So they've got to be here. At the end of the year, they look up their unemployment compensation rolls, which is the accurate way of knowing how many people did you have on December 31st. And if you did, then you apply and send them copies of all your tax bills. And then they give back so much per job back to you. So it's not like you're funding it cash up front at all. And even in terms of what we're doing, they got to build the building where there would be a tax. And they say, okay, you get a break on the tax. You get a discount, which runs out after 5 years or whatever Emery cooks up over there. So. So it's not, we're not up front in the things that we've read about in the past where companies have given $1.5 million cash incentives for people to come there, and then they don't, or they don't do what they do, and the community has no way to get it back. So the state of Florida is really chintzy on it.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions to Rob? Ms. Mott?
Good morning, Denise Mott with Team Volusia. We have been active and on the road and tell you about some of our outreach activities. Since the last meeting, we've covered 8 outreach activities to date so far. Most recently, and I want to let you know also that I am stepping in for Keith today because he is kickstarting a meeting over in Deltona with McCollum Sweeney. It's a program being sponsored with Duke Energy and McCollum Sweeney that we're assisting with. Keith was in Germany at the CeBIT convention last week. He met with a number of top-notch consultants in Berlin and some company representatives as well. He had some very productive meetings. It was a Team Florida mission that we partnered with. I was also in Denver At the Site Selectors Guild, there were about 35 consultants. I was able to have a lot of one-on-one conversations with them, of course, talking about Volusia County and promoting our area. Many of them Keith already has a relationship with, so it was nice to be able to have those conversations open up very quickly, indicating that I was with Team Volusia. I worked with Keith Norden, and so they were very receptive to hearing what I had to say about the area. And then we are going to be attending next week the Florida Grapefruit League baseball event. It's sponsored by Enterprise Florida. There's going to be about 10 consultants visiting. It's a 3-city, 3-game baseball tour. We'll be in Kissimmee, Fort Myers, and Tampa. And Keith and I are going to be splitting up that mission. It centers right around our board meeting. So we'll be doing some driving back and forth. But it's going to be a great opportunity to, again, network with site consultants, some of whom we already have relationships with. We have also had a number of site visits. Project Hydro, which is an Italian-based company who will be opening up a distribution center here. They will be locating in southeast Volusia, very small operation to begin with, but they expect to expand within 3 to 5 years. Project Seal, who is interested in moving back to the area. He's currently operating a manufacturing business in North Georgia, and he's looking to come back to the area. It's undetermined exactly where he will be, so of course it's plenty of opportunity for the city of Daytona Beach on that project. And then Project Gyro, who has been on our activity report for some time. He is really progressing very well with his business now. It's a personalized, a personal mini vehicle of sorts. He began at the incubator, working on a business plan and some marketing and things. He has since left the incubator, but he is talking to some big box retailers, and there's a lot of opportunity opening up for him. And he's going to be, the product is currently in China. He will be bringing that product over, and as he gains more, a larger customer base, he is going to be looking at doing the assembly and distribution here. Again, this opens up an excellent opportunity for Daytona Beach. And then a new project from Enterprise Florida, we have presented 440 Fentress, that building for the opportunity for a manufacturing facility, and they manufacture defense industry equipment. That is my report. If you have any questions.
Anybody have a question? Ms. Mott? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, Mr. Chair, but I did have a chance to speak with Keith yesterday following his return from Germany, and one of the things that he shared with me and some other folks that were in the conversation was in Germany on this Enterprise Florida mission, there were people from a number of different countries, China, other Asian countries, many European countries, and almost without exception, when he would say who he was and who he was representing, in some form or fashion, people would communicate, Daytona. So they know Daytona. They know the brand internationally. And I think we all know that, but it's helpful sometimes to hear that reinforced in personal experience overseas. So.
Very good. Anyone? Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Nancy could not be here today. She wanted me to read into the minutes that the next Eggs and Issues is going to be an update on real estate industry and building industry. It's going to be on Tuesday, March 25th, so it's coming up in, next Tuesday at 7:45 a.m. Now, these are usually on Friday, so if you set your calendar that it's going to be Friday, no, it's going to be Tuesday this time. It's going to be at LPGA International. Speaker is Ian Anderson, president of the Daytona Beach Area Association of Realtors, and Bob Fitzsimmons, the president of the Volusia Building Industry Association. And the cost is $15 for members and $20 at the door, $30 for non-members. So if you would like to go, call Jennifer over at the chamber, and that's that. As you know, in January we did an Eggs and Issues, which was very successful, I think, in going over the the microeconomic report for Daytona Beach, and I think that's something we need to keep planning to do every January in that format. And the Eggs and Issues format's been fairly popular because I think it gets people in and out very quickly and centers pretty quickly on the issues at hand. Okay, Daytona Vision Foundation. I'm going to defer to Ms. Killian because, well, but you know more about what's happening on the medical issue right now. The major issue that's being addressed is two issues. One's sitting in the back, which is a train issue, which may be coming back. I had a conversation with Sands Lassiter yesterday about it, and there may be some more rumblings now that All Aboard Florida is getting more organized for their next phase, which would be Orlando, Tampa, and then Jacksonville to Cocoa to finish out that line. But I'll keep you posted on that. But the medical initiative that we have, Volunteers in Medicine, for the assistance for the working uninsured. I want to talk to you later on about that because I was at the Volusia County Medical Society meeting last night. Now, why am I there? Is because our bank sponsored it, and picked up some really nice some cards we need to follow up on as far as the doctors.
This our Volusia Volunteers in Medicine initiative, which grew directly out of the Vision Foundation. As we report almost every month, this is a slow-moving process, but John Ferguson at Cobb Cole is working on all of the paperwork right now to initiate the 501c3 designation. And we have a location, I think we told you last month, that we're looking at to work with the city on, and we've got site plans that are starting to be renovated, and the property we're looking at is right on the corner of Clyde Morris and Dunn Avenue right now. It's an older property. So we have a lot of hurdles to jump over. We actually really do. But we have so many volunteers right now on the board who are working for trying to get this initiative done. So we're hoping by next month we'll have a lot more to report to you on the more final. It's just a long process, but we know that it's a need that's sorely needed in this area because of about, I believe it's 30,000 people or so that we have found that fall within the cracks of health care here in our community. So it's nothing new. It's a national issue. So hopefully we'll have more to report next time.
Yeah, again, this is Volunteers in Medicine. It's a very successful program, both in Jacksonville and Palm Bay, and we're basically looking at those communities and adjusting for the size and tenor of our community. And my hat's off to Carol and the committee. We have this a wealth of knowledge from both hospitals are contributing, and one retired physician is getting the physicians accumulated in the medical staff. So eventually, once we get a place, we'll be getting very close to getting it open. Right. And that's been the hardest thing, is find the right place. Okay? Any questions? All right. Tim, did you do anything on Fentress?
Yeah, since that lunch that you arranged in the last quarter, has been any further work there, certainly on my part.
Okay. I talked to, oh gosh, I'm glitching on the name. Luma Shield. I'll get offline on that because Dave Perriman.
Yeah.
Okay, and he'd like to. Dave was the president of Luma Shield, which is a company that has since been purchased and left. I think they're over in DeLand now, and he still owns property on the corner there, Dunn and Fentress. So he's very interested. And he's probably one of the sages of that area as far as, after Gary Cunningham and all those guys started cutting that road through, he was pretty much one of the other folks that moved their company in there. I think Haynes Brothers is now in the spot where Luma Shield used to be. So we'll talk about it offline if that's okay. All right, we'll go right to Trader Joe's tax exemption request. It's in your package. If you look, it's about 3 pages in. Do we have any speakers from Trader Joe's?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'll introduce Jeff Garland, who's from with IDS. I'll have him come forward as I review the application. Named Trader Joe's Eats, we can now call it that. So for so long it was Project Alpha, and every now and then I still call it Project Alpha. Page 2, you see under C, it's to be a 700,000 approximately square foot distribution facility. If I go directly to page 3, number 1, the average annual wage, it's reported that it's $28,222. That is without benefits. With benefits, the wage is $40,075. It will create, under 3, 450 jobs in the first 3 years of operation. I'll move on to page 4. This, over 10 years, we'll give you a figure for 5 years, but over 10 years, it will create $156 million worth of payroll. Under 6, the total capital investment is $88 million. And if you go to the property appraiser's evaluation, you see that the value of the abatement over the first 5 years at 100% each year is $1,591,850. With that, I'll call Jeff Garland forward for questions.
Good morning. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Good morning. My name is Jeff Garland. I work with IDS Real Estate Group out of Los Angeles, California.
I understand you came in on a red eye?
I did.
Well, thank
sure
you.
I look like it.
Well, I've done a few of those myself, so if you would just explain the concept and what's going to happen and when, if you could possibly do that.
Sure. Generally speaking, Trader Joe's company operates a distribution network to feed its stores. Over the last 5 years, we've built 4 facilities for them, one in Seattle, one in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We just completed one in Chicago and another one in Dallas. They are expanding their store footprint in the state of Florida and generally in the Southeast, and they're looking to locate what we call a hub distribution center that will distribute goods including alcohol to those locations. And generally speaking, their distribution centers include a main warehouse that is 500,000 to 600,000 square feet, a separate freezer building that is about 100,000 square feet, and then a small truck maintenance wash facility and fueling station for their fleet. The job figures that Emery provided are accurate in what we submitted to the state for consideration, and have been met, in just about every location that we've entered into. Those job numbers also exclude the trucking jobs that are generated, which initially I would expect would probably be 100 to 150 trucking jobs, and generally speaking, those jobs are located near the DC because the trucks stage either on site or immediately off site, depending on where the trucker's coming from, and pick up goods, deliver, come back, and repeat. So there's a home base of operations. They're always going to a store and then coming back. So there's, I guess, some additional consideration and benefit from that perspective.
How many stores do they have in Florida? It's like 4 or 5 right now?
Yeah, right now it's only 4 or 5. Without being too detailed, we also do their retail site selection and store openings. They open about 30 stores a year across the country, and they have a number slated for the Southeast, and particularly Florida. So they're growing in the state of Florida and in the state of Texas right now.
Has anybody shopped at a Trader Joe's? Yeah.
No, but I've heard good comments about it.
Oh, yeah. They have one in Greenville, South Carolina, where my daughter lives. And so when we come back from Greenville, I've got the trunk full of stuff. Well, not meats. Well, sometimes I take meat if I take a cooler.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. They have a very good selection of different types of very healthy products, and it's very good. It's very different as far as how it's portrayed. It's not like walking into a Publix or a traditional grocery store. It's a little bit more laid back. Mm-hmm. They always have stuff they're working on in the kitchen, and you either have something to drink when you're walking through there, or something to eat, or both, because they're always working on stuff to to boost sales. And a lot of the stores do that now, but this is all holistic type of food. So it's very good. It's a very good organization. Looks like the workers enjoy working there.
Very much so.
Only thing I can say is get somewhere close around here.
Yeah.
Going 7.5 hours to get groceries is really a tough thing to do.
I can't guarantee anything, but I know that they are looking in the Volusia County area, and will likely have a store here probably in 3 to 4 years. They have a broad-based plan for expansion, and it's on the list. It's just a couple of years out.
I understand. Okay. Any other questions?
What's the timeline on this in terms of buying the land, building the building?
It's a very expedited timeline. They want to be open prior to their holiday rush in 2015. Excuse me. So we're trying to, from a contractual obligation to actually close escrow, that'll happen this year, probably in the second or third quarter. But we will have significant financial commitments prior to that, either in the way of non-refundable money or some type of a escrow account that's used for mass grading of the site, which the seller, Consolidated Tomoka, is going to be responsible for. There are other contractual obligations on our part and the seller's part with respect to construction of the roadways, utility infrastructure improvements, and things of that nature that need to be done. One of the considerations and concerns is we need the roads to get to the property. We need the utilities to actually operate. So without those things, and knowing 100% that we have those things, we'll push closing off until that happens.
How many trucks a day are you looking
at? Initially, the volume won't be terribly significant just because of the store count. I believe that they estimate that they'll be serving about 15 to 20 stores to begin with. Ultimately, that will probably grow to 40 or 50. And I can't remember exactly what the truck count volume would be. I'm going to say plus or minus 300 trucks a day. They typically operate during the either late at night or early in the morning. They deliver to stores after they close, which is at 9 o'clock, or they deliver to stores prior to their opening, which is, I believe, also at 9 o'clock. So they're either delivering at sometime between 9 and 10 at night, or at 6 in the morning. So it's generally off-peak hours. And then the distribution center will be relatively quiet during the day.
Other than the incoming?
Yeah, you will have some inbound truck traffic from suppliers and vendors, which actually I neglected to mention that they do buy a lot local, which is another thing that they try and do, particularly bread, milk, eggs, things like that that spoil quickly. So yeah, you will see some inbound truck traffic during the days, and I can actually I don't remember if I provided that to you or not, Emery, but I do have it was part of a traffic study that was prepared. We provided them with kind of the car traffic because it's a 24/7 operation. There are 3 shifts throughout the day, and you'll have surges of cars coming in and out during different periods, particularly shift swaps, and then also when the inbound and outbound truck traffic occurs.
Thank you.
Sure.
May I ask exactly where is the property that you're looking at? I've been trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's in between. It's just north of Dunn Avenue and east of Mason Avenue, west of Mason Avenue, east of the I-95. It's right on I-95, north of Dunn.
North of Dunn, yeah, right in that consolidated property.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just as you go over that bridge.
Right.
Yeah, the Dunn overpass.
That was Dunn overpass that was done.
Yeah, it's a little bit south of the
LPGA.
Mayo
Park?
Precision, Teledyne.
Yeah, Teledyne. Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Mason Avenue,
Teledyne
Extension
was
Park.
what I was trying to
Yeah.
think of. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. So, Jeff, not included in these job numbers are the truck jobs.
Correct.
So it's not, and they could possibly be local people.
Absolutely.
Okay. What about the construction? Who do they have national firms come in and do the construction, or do they actually bid it out on the local firms, or do the national firms come in here and get the local subs out of the blue book, or how does that work?
So we have submitted we've submitted an RFP out to the market to 5 contractors. We're waiting on responses back. 2 are national players, and then 3 are local. I'm sure you would know the names if I told you. And then each of those organizations, from my understanding, has reached out to local subs. I know we've already been working with a local civil engineer, Parker Mitchenberg and Associates. He's been instrumental in getting this thing over the goal line, and all of them have reached out to contact him specifically for sub recommendations. Halifax Paving and P&S have also been identified as potential grading contractors, and the seller Consolidated is going to be responsible for overseeing that contract, but we will inherit the results of that contract. So we're going to inherit a pad-ready site.
Okay.
We will likely engage that same contractor to do some fine grading work. It just makes sense. They're already out there with the equipment, et cetera. And as for the local subs, it's really going to be up to the general contractors.
Okay. Well, that's good because that's, how long does it take to build the building? About 9 months, maybe? A
Yeah,
year?
it'll probably be 9 to 10 months
Okay.
from the start of vertical construction, and the grading will take 2 to 3 months.
Mr. Chair, I just want to mention that the great partnership we had working with this project to bring it in. This actually started with a cold call from Jeff to me, and then I contacted Consolidated Tomoka. Consolidated Tomoka contacted Team Volusia. We got the county involved and CEO Business Alliance. So it's been a pie in the oven, and now it's getting ready to come out. So we're just very happy about that.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from the board? I entertain a motion for. So it's a motion for approval of the ad valorem exemption for Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Carol?
Okay. Do you have any further discussion? Okay, call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you so
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. Hopefully stay, enjoy some good weather.
Yeah. Well, from LA, he's probably.
Cold here.
Yeah. Okay. Approval of minutes from the March 5th meeting, and I have a motion. I think we amended it to say that the meeting was to be adjourned at 9:45 a.m. So if we amend that, do I have a motion to approve them as amended?
So moved.
Phil?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.